bad. This place has been kicked, it's been battered, it's been bruised, and I can sit up here and give you coach speak all day long. Knock us down, we're going to get up, and on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off, all right? And we're going to stand up, and then it's going to...
We the Detroit Lions. We the Detroit Lions. Stop playing with us.
Y'all give me a chance to showcase what I can do when they try to bury me, dog. If they can't bury what comes from the dirt.
They grab first down. That's gonna do it. That's gonna do it. That's gonna do it. Jared Goff delivers it to Detroit. Stand up. You waited for this. The Lions won again, bitch. You know the Lions won again.
What up? Go Lions. Welcome to MCBK, Motor City Ball Knowers, Episode 7. I'm the producer, Tim, and I'm here with, you know him by now, my co-hosts, Hesser and Scotty. What up, y'all? Been too long, but so glad to be back with you. What's going on? It seems like a lot of life, a lot of great things in sports and life have happened since we last spoke. Let's catch the listeners up.
Fellas, what's good? It's been a few weeks. A lot has happened since we last chatted. How you doing, Scotty? What's good? Fill us in. What's been going on?
Dude, I was going to say, JD, the floor should be yours. You're a guy with new hardware, state championship hardware. I think you should inform our viewers, our loyal viewers and listeners, as to what you've been up to over the last month. It's been far too long. It's been 5 weeks, 6 weeks since we did. I think 6 weeks ago was our last show. So yeah, JD, the floor is yours, my man. Tell us about your new bling and your new status as a champion.
Well, thank you, Scotty. That's very kind. Yes, we are state champs. Detroit Country Day. Let's go. State champs, capped off a pretty impressive 20-1 season. Obviously, number one in Michigan, winning that state title. We're actually, I calculate, we're on an 18-game winning streak in Michigan. We've won 18 straight games against Michigan teams, including the state title. Great state championship game. Hats off to Forest Hill Central. They had us on the ropes, man. We were down 9-5. It was the largest deficit we had faced all season. And the boys didn't blink. They rallied. They made plays. And big second half. And we got it done. Really, really proud of the guys. It was a heck of a season. And awesome state championship game. I'm glad that we came out on the right side of it. But from I think just like an overall, if you're a fan of high school sports, high school lacrosse, that was a heck of a game to watch.
Hopefully a precursor for the Detroit Lions 2026 season. We get a state championship for your Yellow Jacket men's boys lacrosse state of Michigan. And
yeah,
that's
just
a sign of things to come.
Motor City Dan, Coach Hess got it done in his first season.
Season one.
Yes, it was season one, but it's huge testament to the boys, the squad. I walked into a heck of a situation, and just shout out to the boys. Shout out to the boys of DCD Lax. Awesome year. Super fun. Glad that we were able to finish the job. And it was in pretty dramatic fashion too. So that made it a little extra juicy, but yeah, we're good. We got the trophy. We're going to be ordering our rings here soon, which is pretty cool. Got some state championship merch on the way, and yeah, we're fired up. So what else? A lot's happened. A lot has happened since the last show, as we said. I think outside of Lions, we're thick in the World Cup. I don't know. Do you guys have the World Cup fever like I do? What's going on there for you guys?
Paraguay gave me some World Cup fever last night. I was standing outside watching those sudden death penalty shots in a parking lot with some people, and you couldn't look away. I mean, so watching Germany and Netherlands fall in the knockout, I'm going to be honest with you all. I'm more of a football guy than a football guy. I'm going to be honest. I like the pads more than the cleats.
Smashing.
But,
How do we feel about a penalty kick finish? I feel like it's almost like a coin flip to decide who advances.
It's kind of gimmicky, as you would say, Scott. A little gimmicky.
It's a gimmick. It's a little gimmicky. I mean, the whole
the country of Paraguay, they must have been on fire, dude.
No, it's dramatic. It's dramatic. And I guess soccer
it's just tough to decide a game, to decide
you had 120 minutes to decide the game.
Yeah.
Keep playing. Go until you score, until someone scores, or like remove. I don't know how you can.
What do you want it? You want it to be cricket or frickin' Quidditch?
Well, Jason Crick, shout out Crick, who's a loyal MCBK ball knower, is big on the golden goal, as you're alluding to, Scott. But I don't know soccer enough to like know how that would all work.
Is golden goal just like sudden death? It just you play until someone scores and then that's it.
Yeah, I think
that would be
insane.
Soccer, that would be so dramatic. The finish, that would be so dramatic.
It would, but you could
like
just play for. You could play for hours. I don't know. I mean, it's been awesome. Yeah. The games have been great. There've been some electric, like, stoppage time victories for teams, which has been super cool.
Here's a hot take. Here's a hot take.
I was just gonna say, go ahead, Tim.
Well, Mbappe, you ain't shit. Messi's the GOAT.
I don't think that's a hot take, Tim. I think that's not a hot take.
Yeah. All right.
Tough day. It was a tough day.
I got another hot take.
It was a tough day yesterday for the continents of Europe, losing Netherlands and Germany.
Yeah.
Not a great day. Not a great day for them. But we got Norway. We've got Norway stomping on to the next. We love Holland. I'm a Norwegian, 50% Norwegian. So I think my squad outside of the U.S. So
they're dope. A
lot of Norwegians in the western half of the NFC North.
Yeah, for sure. Scotty, I'm repping your Tigers tonight. What's going on? I know we're beating the crap out of the Yankees right now, but what's going on?
Beating the crap out of the Yankees. I was actually at the game last week against the Yankees here at Comerica Park. They're playing decent ball, and it's like they're still not that far out of the division, outside of a wild card berth. So you can't really write them off yet. We just reached over the halfway point of the baseball season. It's such a long season. I don't think they're going to trade Scooble. I don't think they're going to make it. I don't think they're going to make any like drastic moves one way or another, which is just kind of the way I like to call him timid Scott Harris operates. I think they're just going to kind of stand pat and see if they can strike lightning in a bottle and get hot in this down the stretch here. But the division sucks. Like Cleveland's not that good. The White Sox they're gonna fall back here soon. They're not that good either. So all it takes is like 2 or 3 really hot, a stretch of 2 or 3 weeks of really hot baseball, and you're like right in the thick of it. So the roster is talented. Just the bullpen needs to stop blowing games, and the offense is starting to click a little bit here. So we'll see. I don't really have faith, though. I'll say that. I think they dug themselves way too big of a hole in May. If they just could have played like a little bit better in May and like weren't literally the worst team in baseball by like a wide margin, we would be talking much differently right now. But May was just way too bad.
I call them them and the Mets are the best, worst baseball teams in the MLB. They have because the Tigers, McGonigal, Dingler, and Green, those guys are stars, man. They're hitting.
Dingler's having a year.
Holy crap, man. That guy is putting on a batting clinic all the time. You get good pitching performances, and then you lose one-run games. Hard to watch, to be honest. But
the starting pitching is quality. Chris Fetter is doing a great job there as the pitching coach. The bullpen is just so dreadful. And the offense will just go really cold for a week, and they only can put up 2 or 3 runs a game, if that. But we'll see. We'll see if they can put it all together. NBA, we're right at that point. End of June, early July. Free agency, I think, officially kicks off at midnight tonight. I think in like 2 hours, if I'm not mistaken. So, Tim, give us the scoop on the Pistons. Is Duran out of town?
Well, I'm seeing conflicting reports from my various group chats that involve conversation of basketball knowledge. And I'm seeing that Duran wants to leave, maybe go to Boston. I've also seen that Trajan is refusing to do a sign and trade, that they're still working on contract negotiations.
I thought he wanted to go to Sacramento.
He wants to go wherever Angel Reese is, even though she doesn't want him anymore.
Thought that's Wendell Carter's. That's Wendell Carter's girl.
Yeah.
You heard it here. You heard it. I just broke the story.
We traded Beef Stew.
Yeah, thank you, Beef Stew. We love you, man. You were awesome.
You were great.
What? And this was interesting. I saw the longest tenured Piston on the roster. He had been with the team longer than anybody. And that guy, sure, he made some stupid. I always say, Beef Stew did nothing wrong in his skirmish against LeBron James early in his career. LeBron provoked him, and he made some stupid fouls sometimes, but he was also a clutch player, big man, held it down in the paint, elite rim defender, shot blocker. Sad to see him go. Excited, and I got this off a YouTube comment, so shout out to whoever made this YouTube comment, to bring in the Piston with the most iconic Detroit Piston name ever, Isaiah Joe.
Yeah.
Isn't that an awesome name?
That's incredible.
Yeah, it is.
He's got the backcourt of the 89-90 team in his name. So
that's a nice move.
And he shoots 42% from 3-point line. So we'll take that too.
And he was like deep on the bench of a deep OKC team. So I'm excited for him to get some minutes. Kyle Huter's coming back.
Do you think we make a big deal? Like, do you think we make a splashy move?
I wouldn't call Trajan timid Trajan, like timid Scott Harris or
Melvin,
or I don't even know what we'd call Stevie Y, the captain.
Call
Sleepy
Garrett.
Sleepy Stevie.
Sleepy Stevie.
The cowardly captain. But no, I think Trajan's smart, dude. I think if there's something available, he'll take it. But the board is shrinking. Kawhi's in Toronto. Kawhi didn't want to come to Detroit or extend here. Can you really see LeBron James in a Pistons uniform? Not going to happen. I mean, everybody.
Shouldn't Cade be like a magnet for really high level players? Like, I want to play with this up and coming superstar who's bar none he was first team All NBA, right?
Right.
Or
top 5 player in the league.
Or do you think other guys are going to be like, I want it to be my show? I guess that's not true. I mean,
they want to win. They want to win a championship, and I think it's.
I
not
think
everyone does.
Yeah. NBA free agent talk, like on Reddit and shit, goes really into like fantasy land. So you see like Jaylen Brown's name get thrown around. You see, Trey Murphy is who a lot of the Pistons, Markkanen, Trey Murphy, who you hear a lot, but like, I don't know if we'll pull him. I'm not going to. Yeah, cheers. I'll put it to you this way. It's like with the Lions. If you could get like an elite player, like if you could get a defensive end like Micah or Miles, you want him, and that's how you feel with some of these big names. Like, especially when you see us lose a series to the Cavs that we probably could have won, Should have won.
Melvin, I want to correct you. Melvin doesn't want Micah or Miles. He doesn't even pick up the phone. It's way too risky.
Maybe this Terrion Arnold stuff will make him think differently. And how about that for a segue, boys?
Well
how about
done.
that for a segue?
Well,
maybe those
good
round picks.
Right.
First round picks, man.
Those sacred first round picks that you'll never ever part with.
Let's just wrap the welcome back chatter up with this. The only Detroit team that won a championship this year is Detroit Country Day. So shout out of our 4 major sports that we're affiliated with.
Shout out to the boys.
Congrats to the Jackets.
Yeah.
And
all time, all time team, like all time Michigan high school lax squad.
They're in the rafters.
Yeah.
They'll be talked about forever.
Congrats, dude.
It's a lifetime, a legacy that'll last.
Hey, coaches coach, players play. Players win championships. So that was them. But let's talk about Terrion. I think a good way to start this is probably to like set the table for people that maybe aren't super in the weeds on it. Like what is he being accused of, and legally, like what has happened? What's going on with this? It's pretty insane situation.
It's a crazy story. And Tim's a future attorney. He's about to finish.
Tim's a lawyer, man.
Tim's a lawyer, man. So
law man, not a lawyer.
We have to.
Law man.
We have to also make sure everything that we say is careful while we say alleged and accused. So Terrion's accused of armed robbery, 4 counts of that, which is a felony, and then 4 counts of kidnapping, if I'm not mistaken, right? So it stems from, and I'll try to be quick with the backstory here. He was down in Florida with a group of friends at an Airbnb in early February. One night they were out. I don't know if they were out at the club or out at the beach. Who knows what they were doing? His stuff in the Airbnb was taken. He was robbed. He filed a police report.
$250,000 worth
cash is $100,000 in cash. I think it was $100,000 in cash, and then like $150 in jewelry and various other collectibles items, whatever. So
trading cards, Pokemon cards.
Yeah, he's got those NFTs. He's got those NBA Top Shot NFTs. That's why you should have NFTs, because you can't just go into an Airbnb and steal them. They're in your digital wallet.
True.
Cyber hacking, though, dude.
That's true. But jokes aside here, he ends up filing a police report saying, hey, I got robbed of all this stuff. And then very shortly thereafter, less than 24 hours later, him and his friends are alleged to have targeted the people that they thought robbed them and lured them into an apartment, held them at gunpoint, pistol whipped them, allegedly. And while Terrion was not physically there, he apparently orchestrated a lot of it, was in a group chat on a FaceTime during it while it was happening. And this all happened. This all transpired within 24 hours. This all transpired allegedly within 24 hours of a confirmed, the police report was confirmed of Terrion. So there's a lot of layers here. And Tim, I do want to ask you, as someone who studies law and is into this, this feels to me, one part of the story that's really important. They got the wrong people. Like the guys that they robbed, they got the wrong people. They weren't the right guys, or whoever did rob them. I don't even know if they found out who did rob him in the first place, but the people that they targeted and ended up, kidnapping and holding against their will were not the right people. So it was all for nothing. They didn't get the right guys, which allegedly. So Tim, I'm curious, my view of it and my initial stance, one, I'm sad because Terrion seems like a good kid by all accounts. Going back to high school, he's from the Tallahassee area. At Alabama with Coach Saban, Miss Terry, Nick Saban's wife, he was very close with her. This feels like something that something doesn't add up to me as to like, how is this, like when the headline was released last week, it was Dave Burkett that broke the story. How is his life in prison? How is that for this crime? No one got hurt. No one ended up being killed. No one ended up being like, how is this just doesn't feel justified for what he's being accused of doing.
Well, I think the important thing that a lot of people, like what you hear on the radio or see on YouTube, faces up to life in prison, right? That's because of the 8 counts that were mentioned, the several parties that were involved. But I think when there were multiple parties, right? There were multiple people kidnapped. There were allegedly kidnapped, and the accusations. I think it's up to a prosecutor's discretion to what they're going to seek. I think you got to think about it a few ways. He is a wealthy defendant. He's a professional football player, right? So he can hire defense. As you said, he's well connected. He's a well-known football player, probably well-known in Florida, has connections like the Sabans, right? My first thought, even before all this and hearing about like the evidence that they potentially had against him, like group chats and FaceTime, which that's not good evidence, right? If there's evidence that like shows he's like, do it, man, you look pretty guilty, right? Even if he wasn't there, you're a party too, right? Or like either, how, so like, that's all to say. But I was like, when I saw it, I was like, he's not going to life in prison. Now, however, there are certain jurisdictions where it's worse, like it's the South, not to make a generalization, but like, people go to prison for a long time for less, probably, they are serious accusations. Now, I'm with you. If you want to hear like Tim's take outside of the law, I was like, this dude got embarrassed. He got scared. Did you see the ages of some of his friends he were with? They were like 20, 18-year-olds. Like, he's probably like, let me be the big man NFL guy, and show that people can't mess with me. That was my thought. Like, my first thought is he's 23, dude. He's young. And like, I always just imagine it this way. What kind of starts as like let me show you I'm not scared, or almost like, I hate to use the word prank, but like borderline prank turns into felony type behavior, when like, if there's anything involving a gun, like robbing people, kidnapping, that doesn't mess around. So I was like, it's awful. It's dumb. It was stupid. Right. It's like, yeah, that's,
yeah.
I'm not trying to give two like balanced takes, but I'm like, man, how often do we see this type of stuff? It's pretty
like, it's just kind of bizarre. It's like it's a very weird situation with like, again, allegedly the guys that robbed Terrion, and then they're like changing their stories, and you maybe have a situation where you have a prosecutor who has this big NFL star, could be this big case, be this big win. Again, allegedly, I don't know the law nearly as well as you do, Tim, or like this is not my space at all, but it seems just like it's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate for TA, the person, because of the decisions that were made and what's happened. It's probably like the extreme of what can happen. And then the football player, obviously, he gets cut from the team that drafted him, the team that traded up to take him.
Yeah.
I mean,
it sucks. It sucks.
If I could just, dude, J-Mo was doing really dumb stuff the last few years too. And similarly, which I give grace to, because again, he's 22. But like, if you think about, J-Mo was driving around the east side of Detroit with like semi-automatic weapons at like 4 a.m. with his brother, and
unregistered, if I remember correctly.
Unregistered. And he got pulled over by Detroit cops who like recognized him as Jameson Williams, and stuff. But then also the using DraftKings in the locker room. I mean, I chalk this all up to kind of being young and dumb behavior. No offense. Do I think these guys should go to prison? No. Like TA, if he really did that, he's going to have some consequences, but I don't think these guys should go to prison. But it's also like, man, it sucks. It sucks. Now, I also hear a lot of dumbass dudes on 97.1 go, fuck these kids. Like, I don't want to see, I know they're dumb from what they do on the football field. I'm like, shut the hell up, dude.
Yeah.
But you do hear that. Even Mark Ryan, who overall I like, was like, I don't want to see these guys again. Like, I'm like,
Mark Ryan is an absolute clown on the radio, dude.
An important detail we missed in the summary. An important detail that I missed in the summary was, so I think two or three of his buddies were arrested like immediately back in February.
Yeah, I
Terrion
remember
wasn't.
it came out then.
Right. And Terrion wasn't. And there were a lot of like rumors about, speculation, like, is Terrion going to get looped in? Was he actually involved? Were they just friends of his? And he was, but the rumors, people start swirling, reporters start digging into what's going on. So what happened was what led to the charges last week. These guys ended up pleading themselves down to lesser sentences. And then in return, they implicated Terrion, which led to the testimony is basically what led to Terrion being charged. Was the two or three guys, I forget. I know it's at least two guys. The one was his former bodyguard, which I believe is his cousin, if I'm not mistaken, but and a younger friend. In exchange for their testimony to go against Terrion, they pled down and got lighter sentences. So that's just another wrinkle of it, where they didn't have evidence against Terrion for 4 months until they were able to get the sworn testimony to say, okay, now we can use this as our smoking gun, and we'll connect the dots from there. It sounds like he has a really strong, as you mentioned, Tim, he's got money. He's going to be able to put up a really strong defense. He has that one attorney from California that is supposed to be, one of the best, if not the best at, helping, get away. The chances of him spending the rest of his life in prison are, I think, as you mentioned, very slim, but at the same time that catches the headlines, and he's no longer a part of the Detroit Lions, and his football future, his professional future is totally up in the air right now. And that's putting it lightly. And that's what's just so sad. And looking at Terrion as a human is like, this regardless of how many days or years you spend in jail, just this whole situation of like your life is just over as you knew it.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's also not like he, as like a football player, like had this amazing tape and had all this success. Like he was a polarizing player, I think, in Detroit for sure. Tons of penalties, but then you also, like, last year I thought there was growth. Like before he got injured, he was starting to play well and seemed to have a lot of support from the coaches. But then you also get Shep, who is like, we know Terrion talks about being great and wants to be great, but now he needs to go be great. So there was a polarizing player. Whenever you're a first round pick, and I think you're a cornerback too, especially, it's hard. Like it's such a hard position to come in and to be really good at. You don't see it very often. Like Patrick Surtain is a guy who came in right away and had a lot of success. Quinyon Mitchell had a really good rookie season, which that's an easy comparison given where he was drafted versus where Terrion was drafted in the same draft.
Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah. So you've seen guys recently have success, but like historically, it's a very difficult position to come in. Like, maybe the best corner in Lions modern day history, big play Slay. He was terrible as a rookie, and he got better. And
there's a lot of growth. It's a position of a lot of growth.
And I think that's what sucks, because you felt like maybe there was some untapped potential there still, where he went through the rookie growing pains. He struggled, with the penalties, getting beat. I think there was like a 96 point something passer rating against him. And then he starts to play a little bit better next year, and then last year, and then he gets injured. So it's like just unfortunate set of circumstances. And for the Lions, how do we feel like the Lions cornerback room, looks now? It's you're down a starting cornerback. So what does that look like?
Yeah, so you're down a starting corner. I think that's going to be addressed one way or another, whether through a trade or a veteran signing between now and in August and when we get into camp. That's for certain, I think, because you're going to clear some of that money that Terrion was owed. I don't know exactly how the financial ramifications have worked out. I mean, he just got released yesterday, so I think there's still some.
I saw something today that they're on the cap, or they're on the hook for like 2 years worth of dead money, like 4.5 this year and 6.5 next year.
Okay.
Let me pull that out. I think it was a Birchie. Shout out Birchie. I think it was a Will Birchfield.
So where we go from now is it's you have Rock Ya-Sin, who you were already kind of looking at as like, okay, he started some games last year on the outside when DJ Reed was down and when Terrion was down, and now it's like you need two of that. You have a Rock Ya-Sin and you want a second one, and I think all the eyes are on Ennis Rakestraw as well. I think this is a guy who's hardly seen the field for 2 years. He was the second round pick in that same draft as Terrion back in 24. All eyes are on Ennis, and I think they were developing him. I think there was a lot of speculation for him to be a nickel and in the slot, but now I think he's working out as an outside corner in OTAs, and I think the team envisions him as an outside corner. So I think Ennis, this is the biggest opportunity this guy will have in his career is right now, and I hope he takes advantage of it. I hope he stays healthy because he's gotten some really bad luck with injuries. He's hardly been able to see the field. He suited up for one regular season game and I don't even know if he made it through the whole game. This was like week 2 of his rookie year. If I remember,
he was that was against the Bucs.
He got hurt in warm-up. He got hurt in warm-ups.
He was slated to start. He was starting that game. Got hurt in warm-ups, missed the whole season, and then last year missed the whole season too. So I think, yes, Scott, you hit the nail on the head. What an opportunity for him, and like we kind of need him to be the guy that we thought he was going to be as a second-round draft pick. Like come in and be a guy that can start eventually. Now's the time, dude. You're paying DJ Reed a lot of money to be CB1. You invested a second-round pick in Ennis. You got a guy like Roger McCreary coming in who probably is more of a nickel inside corner. You got Rock, as you said. You got Keith Abney, 5th-round pick, who's probably also more of a slot type of guy, and also is a 5th-round pick. So I mean, you need Ennis, and I agree with you too, Scott. I think you do such a disservice to this team if you don't go out and get
somebody.
Denzel Ward. There's some guys out there that you could bring in.
There's still plenty of free agents. Yeah, we'll go through that list in a minute, but I do want to bring back up. You just brought up DJ Reed. That was one I wanted to highlight to put a pin on. Is he got paid a lot of money, a 3-year deal worth what, 48 million, 45 million, somewhere like that. So you got to earn your money, man. And last year the hamstring injury and those things linger. I think he just was kind of a loss to year 1 here in Detroit. Unfortunately, he didn't have the same juice and speed, and he admitted that. He was interviewed in OTAs a few weeks ago and said, "Hey, like,
dude,
I came back from my injury, and
I got some. Sorry to cut you off, Scott, but he went down to a Latin American. Oh my God, Mexico just scored an absolute ripper of a goal. A ripper. LS Tech is on fire, but DJ Reed went down to, it might have been Mexico or it was a Latin American country, and he got some crazy stem cells. Yeah, and he was quoted as saying he was feeling good, which every guy is gonna say they're feeling good. I'm sure Brian Branch says he's feeling good right now. So like
Kirby does. Kirby Joseph doesn't say he's feeling good. Yeah. Well, he's pretty honest.
Right. That's true. That's true.
But speaking of the safeties, I wanted to bring this up, and as we talk about corner, so there's been a ton of buzz about, and we'll talk about the OTA buzz, and there's been a ton of buzz about Chuck Clark standing out in OTAs and just being a very vocal leader, knowing where to be, yelling out assignments, helping out the whole defense, and being just. And this is his first year in Detroit. He's, I think, a 10-year, 11-year vet of the league. He's been a long-time Raven. He was on the Steelers this past year. So let's say right now you have Chuck Clark, you have Izzian, and you have Avonte Maddox, and then let's say Kirby is, back playing by week 6 and maybe start. He's out there. You still have the ability to bring Brian Branch down to slot and play him at nickel. As he's shown, he can be really good there. I know the team envisions, but now we've got a new set of circumstances. It's a totally new situation. I know the team has said in the past, like, he's a safety. We see him as a safety, but you just lost your CB1, CB2, however you want to view Terrion. He's a first-round pick, your first-round pick investment corner. He's gone. He's not coming back either. So now you start to look at the safety room that's actually crowded with some pretty good names that you can start to feel comfortable about. There's some good depth there. I didn't even bring up Thomas Harper. That's another name who played decently last year. There's some guys in that safety room that can play. They're veterans and that you can trust. So what's to stop potentially? And I don't know, this is maybe a question that we can delve into, and maybe the coaching staff will talk about it later in the training camp. But in terms of the Achilles recovery, maybe there's less range for him to play down kind of in the box, down in like the nickel area, rather than playing up at safety where he's maybe that could help his recovery, help him be out there and be playing with a, not at 100%, maybe at 90% from the Achilles. But that's just a thought. And I think you could see that as a way to kind of fill a hole. And
hey, what's a secondary's best friend? A good pass rush.
A good pass rush.
Like, Hutch, Wanham, D. Moore, shoot, Hassanin, maybe Brad does something crazy and gets another edge rusher. Like Aleem hopefully coming back for him. Tyleek taking a step. That to me is I think about that too with these cornerback injuries and the Terrion situation and the safety injuries. Like if that pass rush can take a step and be top half of the league, top 12, that's huge. That's
a name I want to highlight there that got a ton of buzz from the OTAs earlier in June is Anthony Lucas, undrafted free agent from USC. Both, I think Casey Rogers and Kelvin Shepard both discussed, and they said, we couldn't believe this guy made it to didn't get drafted. So he had a ton of good tape. I think it was 2 years ago. Who was he lined up against? I was just listening to, I believe it was the Lions Collective, and they hit.
Was it one of the guys from Utah?
No, Will Campbell. It was LSU with Will Campbell.
LSU, yeah.
He was lined up against Will Campbell, and he gave him fits. And it was one of Will Campbell's worst games. Gave him one of Will Campbell's worst games in his college career. It was his senior year, or his final year at LSU. I don't know if it was his junior or senior year, but it was one of Will Campbell's worst games on tape, and largely in part due to Anthony Lucas's impact. And so that's someone that again was getting in OTAs. I will say, put a grain of salt. The guys aren't padded up. They're playing, glorified 7-on-7. It's pajama ball. So grain of salt. But I think those are a couple names I did want to highlight. One was Chuck Clark at safety. He was the first guy brought up by. I know Kelvin Shepard was singing his praises, and then Anthony Lucas as well as an undrafted guy. I think if he can step up and be someone who gets in the rotation at defensive end, that's just a name to pin for right now, and keep on your radar as we move into training camp and then early into the season. If he can break the 53 man.
I'm gonna keep going on the OTA buzz, Scott. Two guys, and we're flipping to the other side of the ball now. So I think we've hit on the O-line and we've hit on a lot of these. I think
quick before. Let me hop in real quick before we jump into the full OTA buzz. Do we want to just quickly highlight a few of the names of available free agent corners that,
Well, I think why don't we save that for the mailbag?
Oh, there's a mailbag. You're right. Yeah. All right. Proceed. Sorry.
No, all good. I think there's two names just on stuff that I've read and guys that I follow who have stood out and they're big name guys, but I think if these two guys can continue to take steps forward, it really takes this offense to the next level, assuming the O-line is better than, what it was last year. And we believe in Petsing, which we do. JMO is the first one who is getting a lot of buzz from not just Lions guys, but there was a PF Pro Football Talk article about him. It was either yesterday or today. Just taking that step from being like really good and, like fast and somewhat one-dimensional to truly potentially becoming an elite receiver that can run all different types of routes and can catch contested balls and do a lot of the things that you want a wide receiver one doing. I think if that happens, that's awesome. And then
which I think he's shown a little bit. There were some games that it was more 2 years ago in 24 where he would catch some like really impressive like hook routes, like a 10-yard hook for like a key, like a 3rd and 9. and he'll stand in there and take a hit.
He had some, he'd go over the middle on like a dig route and go up and get it and absorb hits. And I think like that's probably what the staff and the front office saw in him and in these practices and this tape, and rewarded him with that contract extension, which is looking pretty good right now, and that'll change. Scott, we've talked offline about the contracts and these other receivers making a ton of money and how good of a deal St. Brown is right now, which it'll change. But in the here and now, we've got two receivers on very good deals, all things considered, for how good they are. And then the other guy is Scott, trigger warning. It's another receiver, but it's Tesla, is getting a lot of love from Lions guys. Obviously not going to be anything national. And look, he's a wide receiver 3, but I think he's such a potentially huge piece to this whole puzzle. If he takes a jump and, becomes more than just a guy who goes up and catches jump balls in the end zone and can do a little bit more, and you want him to do a little bit more based on where you took him, what you gave up to get him. If that happens and you truly have 3 pass catchers that are bona fide weapons, along with Gibbs, and Laporta hopefully coming back into form and a better O-line, I think this offense could get right back to where it was a couple of years ago, and it's going to look different. It's not the Ben Johnson offense. It's the Drew Petzing offense. It's going to look different, but I think the effectiveness of the offense could be, I don't want to say as good because that was really good, but maybe like right there if all this stuff pans out.
Yeah, I think the offensive line is going to look better. I think the play caller is going to look better. That's a given. And the weaponry, and I discussed Tesla in past episodes. I said, I think it's an expectation he should catch 45 to 50 balls. I don't see why not. It's about 3 a game. He's going to be out there. And like you mentioned, we traded up, moved up, took him with, pretty solid draft capital and early 3rd round pick. Like, yeah, man, you got to make an impact. It can't just be garbage time touchdowns when we're down by 3 scores. You've got to be out there and making an impact all 4 quarters. And we'll see. I think he's a guy. He started. He was at Hillsdale and worked his way into the SEC. Only had 1 year there, so it was going to be a learning curve with Tesla. It was never going to be immediate impact day one, but I think he's going to make a big step this year too. So a lot of I like that you brought up Petzing. That's a good thing that I wanted to bring up is, and this was brought up where in OTAs, Sheps had issues with dealing with looking at how when they're playing ones versus ones, starters versus starters in these scrimmages and glorified 7-on-7s, where the offense looks a lot more complex and it creates challenges for the defense. And the longtime mantra is iron sharpens iron, right? And I think last year with Johnny Morton, my guy, Johnny Moe, the defense couldn't really get good prep and good reps in because Morton's offense was so bland and vanilla and just bad, right? Yeah. And I think now the defense is going to be so much more like battle tested and prepared just from our practices and looking at our first team offense that's doing a ton more complexity, much more complex. And this was a Ben Johnson-ism was, make the same look different and make the different look the same. And I think that's the kind of what Petzing's trying to adopt here is just a lot of pre-snap motions, just making it difficult to figure out what's going to happen, right?
Sidebar, Ben Johnson. I'm currently up in northern Michigan. I was at Shorts Brewery the other day, and I ran into a Bears fan, and we were talking ball. And he said Ben Johnson is the best coach in the NFL. And I said, Ben Johnson's a really good coach, but he cannot be the best coach in the NFL until he beats Dan Campbell. And he said, you're right.
You got him there. You got him on his ass.
Own his ass. Like, calm down, buddy. Like, let's
pump the brakes, man. Pump the brakes. You won one NFC North with a fluky turnover differential.
Yeah.
And
We'll do I think little preview. Little preview. We're gonna be previewing all the NFC North teams in the next episode or two. So that'll be fun to do as unbiased as we can. But no, Scott, I think you're spot on with the analysis of the offense, giving the defense more fits. And the last thing I'll say about that too, and then we can probably get to our mailbags and sign off. Mexico just scored another sick goal, by the way. I don't know if you guys have this on your background.
Poor Ecuador.
Very happy for them, man.
Yeah. But the way that Goff talks about Petzing is a lot different than the way that Goff talked about Morton. And with Morton, it was almost like Goff was being polite and, being very PC, and not, there was no depth to his answers. Like, he's we see eye to eye and we get along, and he does good stuff. Where with Petzing, it's like, oh, this guy's super sharp. He's doing this. We look like this. He's putting this in. And that's exciting because Goff, per a lot of the reports from Allen Park, he's a guy that likes to be challenged intellectually. And he's part of what makes Goff effective with his lack of athleticism and mobility is his ability to read defenses and be very good pre-snap. And you must be in lockstep with your OC to be as effective as possible, pre-snap and reading defenses. So that excites me too. I think this offense is going to look very much so like the Lions offenses we're used to seeing under the Dan Campbell regime, which is good.
On that one last note on the offensive coordinator and just the new offensive staff and the new regime that's in, Colton brought up a great point on the recent Lions Collective episode where, Ben Johnson was so good at just designing an offense and then he'd come in with the trick plays. I want to bring up one thing too. We've kind of replaced Ben Johnson in the aggregate, or at least that's the hope, right? Where we've got Petzing, who's really, really sharp with like designing a run game, for example, really efficient run games and, putting together a game plan there. But then we have Mike Kafka on staff. If you guys remember, the Giants had nobody in that game at Ford Field. They were down. Malik Neighbors was out. They had Cam Scadaboo was out. And they had freaking Gunnar Olszewski shooting it down the field to Jameis Winston 30 yards down the field with trick plays and all sorts of stuff. And that was Kafka as the interim HC there. Yeah. And he's on our staff. And I think that's going to be something where you can kind of have Petzing with, okay, you're going to be just working on the fundamentals of the offense, the foundation of the offense. And I think Kafka can come in and kind of do some of the fancier stuff.
And that's where Ben was like everyone has trick plays and wants to run trick plays, and it's flashy and it's gimmicky and sexy, and
John Morton was intellectually unable to get to that.
And it goes viral on Twitter, and that's what like people see. But Ben was the designs were good, but when he called the trick plays, is what was really impressive. It was like always the perfect time to call these plays.
The sequencing is he's
like
so
that.
Good.
That takes some next level coaching, which I've gone on these episodes, talking about I can't root for Ben Johnson anymore, but he's a heck of a coach, and I think we missed that a lot last year. I don't think we did. We missed a lot of the design and the creativity and the complexity and just the feel for calling the plays. And when Campbell took over play calling in that Washington game, it felt more like what we were used to seeing. And he, Dan has a better feel for that than Morton did. But then, as we've discussed too, all the other stuff fell through the cracks, which led to the 9-8 season also.
The hope is that complexity also translates, as I mentioned earlier, was when the defense, the ones go against each other in practice. And Kelvin Shepard's first year as a DC, he didn't have the opportunity to be challenged like that in practice because he was going against big dummy John. So, sorry, I'm piling on poor John Morton. I mean,
no, we're good. It's just
He went back to, I think is he back? He's back with his boy Sean Payton, right? He's back with Denver.
I don't know.
Back with Daddy.
I'm not keeping tab.
Sorry,
Well,
I'm being mean to John and Mo, but I think that this it's good for the offense and the defense, in just having better units on each side of the ball and going against each other in practice. And
I think we hit on a lot here. I think closing out with some mailbags to take us home, and then we'll look to kind of get back on a relatively normal cadence as we get closer to training camp, and that coincides with Scotty's big day at the end of the month, or I guess it's technically not July, but training camp and your wedding are very very close together.
We're about 3 weeks out from both. Yeah, July 25th is the big day. I think that's right around when players report to Allen Park, and I put a ring on my finger and get to marry my amazing fiance Hannah. She's the best, and I'm super pumped for that. And get a little honeymoon. Then I'll be back to record some episodes. We'll be right in the thick of it for training camp and preseason games. Once I'm back from Hawaii. So
can't believe that.
We're right around the corner. And yeah, we definitely had a nice hiatus here. The NFL does such a good job at owning the entire 12-month calendar, but this is definitely the stretch, like June and like early to mid, like mid to late July, where there really isn't much going on. Like we were, texting us our group chat of us three, and we're like, guys, we don't have anything new, like newsworthy really happening right now. Obviously the Terrion stuff happening gives us a good moment for content for an episode, but the last few weeks have been just NFL wise pretty dry. I don't think we've had a chance to discuss the Myles Garrett trade. I mean, that was between our last episode, if I'm not mistaken. That's freaking huge.
Yeah, that's the Rams, man. They did it again.
They did it again. They're the front runners. And there's a lot of buzz that Aaron Donald's going to get back there too. That's freaking insane. If that happens, just Jesus. Thank God they're not on our schedule. They're not on our schedule.
Yeah, they're gonna be tough. They're gonna be tough out in the NFC, but yeah, let's rip some mailbags. I think
we got some great questions from some of JD's cousins. So so first question's from Trent. Where's Trent at, JD?
Trent right now is probably in Grosse Pointe. Probably chilling with his boys, chilling with his homies, maybe getting some ice cream, maybe scootering or rollerblading in the neighborhood. Yeah, ripping it up.
Trent, keep doing that. Whatever you're doing, keep doing that. And thank you, Trent, from Grosse Pointe, with this fantastic question. Few questions. I'm going to rip them all off, see what you guys have to say. Thank you, Trent.
Rip them. Let's go, Trent.
Trent wants to know, Scotty and Hesser, do you think the Lions will or should trade for a corner to offset the loss of Terrion? If so, who might they target? When can we realistically expect Branch back? And how effective do you think he'll be coming back from his Achilles injury?
Let's start with the top part.
Scott, this is you. This is all you.
Replacements. So there's some good free agents out there. When I say good, they're free agents for a reason at this point, right? They're probably past their prime. They weren't sought after in the initial wave of free agency. So you have to temper your expectations. But there are guys here that have all pros, Pro Bowls on their accolades on their resume. So we could start with Marshawn Lattimore, Tre'Davious White, Kenny Moore, Trevon Diggs, and Rasul Douglas are 5 names that are currently free agents, all somewhere around 30, if not older than, into their 30s now, 31, 32 years old, been around the league for a long time, but it's veteran presence. It really goes, it's hard to nail down which one makes the most sense. I think you'd have to ask Kelvin Shepard that, say, hey, what are we looking for? We're looking for more of a man-to-man, or we can start playing more zone this year. He's discussed wanting to play more nickel. So it depends who would they view as a more schematic fit for what this defense wants to do and aspires to do. But those are 5 names that I would say keep an eye on the free agent market. But the one belle of the ball, in my opinion, that has voiced his intent to want to get out of Cleveland after the aforementioned Myles Garrett trade is Denzel Ward. And there's been some speculation of, it would cost too much. It's way too risky. I'm like, I'm sick of hearing that. It goes for all 4 of our sports teams here in the Motor City. This is if you just lost your cornerback in a weird, fluky way, and he's not coming back. It's not an injury. Terrion's gone. He's gone forever.
Like, what is Denzel Ward going to cost?
Probably a 2nd or 3rd round pick, but it's the cap, it's the money, and it's like, we can't do that's the financials are too much. It's just figure it out, restructure some money, move around Penne's money, move around Amon-Ra's money, figure it out. You can do it. You can get creative, make it happen. Because Denzel Ward's a stud. He's been a stud in the league for a long time. He's still playing at a very high level, and Cleveland is in no position to win probably for the next 2 to 3 years. And he's reaching that point where he wants to play for a winner. He's been in Cleveland his whole career. They've been to, I believe, 1 playoff, maybe 2 playoff appearances since he's been in the league. Never went far. I think this is one where it just makes so much sense, and it makes too much sense. So I would love to see us approach Cleveland and say, hey, you guys are obviously in a rebuild. You traded Garrett. Let's make a move for Denzel Ward. Why not?
Ward makes a lot of sense. The Cleveland defense has been very good for the last couple of years. Obviously anchored by Garrett, but I think Ward contributes big time. The second part of Trent's question about Branch and his effectiveness and when we can expect him to return. So I think the Lions are typically a lot slower to bring guys back from these long-term injuries. They definitely play it safe. And with Branch, he's a younger guy who I assume, want to extend. They've talked about wanting to extend. I could totally see them really playing the long game here. And I mean, I'm going to say Thanksgiving would be a realistic timetable for him to return, just based on the length, it takes to recover from an Achilles. The second part, how effective, I don't think he's going to be the same player that he was. I just don't think it's fair to expect that coming off of that type of injury. It's probably the worst injury you can get in sports. It takes the longest. It's the hardest to recover from. It's not good. And I still think he's a dog. And I think part of what makes Branch a really good football player is his ability to maybe make up for some of the lack of physical traits. Like, that's why he dropped. He had a slow 40. He doesn't have the measurables per se. So I'm hoping that if he did lose a step, maybe he's savvy enough and smart enough and instinctive enough to still be effective. And I think he'll still be good. I think he's a quality starter. I just don't think he's the potential all-pro type of player that we thought he was, at one point early in his
Which
career.
he certainly was. I think if that ever does come back to a potential all-pro level top at your position, that would be in 2027 at the absolute earliest. It takes a long time to get back. You can get back on the field, but as JD mentioned, you're not the same level of effectiveness, same player until even much farther beyond that. It's probably going to be another full off season. And I think that's something to watch out for Aleem McNeil this year, coming off the ACL. I think, especially for a guy of that size, we'll look for Aleem McNeil for this year to go back to his previous effectiveness.
That'd be huge, man. If we can get big Papa back in form, that would be that helps that cornerback room right there.
Right.
All right. Well, excited to see Brian Branch back on the field, whether it be, this season or playoffs or what have it.
And shout out Trent. We know Trent.
Shout out Trent.
Thanks,
Trent's
man.
Trent's a big time listener to MCBK. I know he rips it. Late night, and we appreciate
while he's on the longboard eating ice cream with his boys. He's just got his AirPod in listening. I think
Cherish it.
I do. the last thing on Branch, and we'll move to the next question, is I think the absolute earliest would be post-bye week 7, but I think more likely realistically is late November, Thanksgiving time. But the absolute earliest would be week 7, but still doubtful.
Yeah. All right. Next question's from Catherine. Where's Catherine asking from?
That's Trent's mother. So she's also asking from Grosse Pointe.
Catherine in Grosse Pointe, thank you so much for the question. She is
another legend.
A legend, a spicy and fun question. Who is the most underrated player on the Detroit Lions?
It's a great question.
I got mine.
Go for it.
Dude, it's Jared Goff.
He popped into my head. Yeah.
Jared Goff is the most underrated player on the Lions. Jared Goff is so good. Jared Goff is so good at playing quarterback. He's one of the 10 best humans on the planet at that position, which is the most important position in sports. He, for whatever reason, I can go off about this. It pisses me off that he gets knocked because he can't move. He can't run. Okay, cool. Last I checked, playing quarterback was about throwing the football. Am I right, Tim? Playing quarterback is about throwing the football. If you want to be if you want to run, play running back, right? Jared Goff is so good, and I think he's undervalued in this city. I really do. He's my answer to that, and I'm obviously passionate about it. And he had a great he had a great year last year with a bad O-line and a bad offensive coordinator.
With some tough environmental things going on.
He's freaking good, dude. He's reliable. He's durable. He is consistent. He gives you 1 or 2 bad games a year, and every other game, you can expect 275 yards, 65 to 70% completions, 2 touchdowns. Sign me up for that every freaking week. Sorry, go Scott.
No, I think that's the right answer. I'm just trying to think of the second right answer, and I'll say Jack Campbell. I think the mainstream media hasn't necessarily caught up to how good of a year he just had. Obviously, he was an All-Pro, but then I just saw, I think, released today that he's ranked 88 on the NFL top 100 players, and I think that's too low. I think
that's so low.
That's too low. I mean, it's obviously nice to be in the top 100. It's a very hard feat to get in there, but I still think
top 50.
Maybe it's because wears number 46 and just kind of has the, it's from Iowa, the blue collar thing. But I mean, Jack Campbell is like a mega stud, and he's just continuing to get better. And he's probably the best off-ball linebacker in the sport right now. He's an incredible player.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Well, I think both of you are wrong.
Who do you got, Tim?
It's Jack Fox.
Dude, that's continue.
He's the best punter in the league. I am a member
That's
of
a great
Jack
answer.
Fox. I'm a member of the Jack Fox fan club. And I think when you're talking about, hey, Mom, when you're talking about complimentary football, you can't do it without a good special teams. Now, you could say we don't punt that often because we go for it on 4th down. But when we do, you're getting a great corner coffin kick from Jack Fox.
And hey, sometimes when we go for it on 4th down, he's throwing it.
There you go. I'm a Jack Fox.
Tim the Law, man.
I'm a Jack Fox supporter. Most underrated Lion. Jack, we support you, and we can't wait to have you on the pod.
We're going to get Jack on the pod.
Yeah. All right. So thank you, Catherine, for a fun question.
Good question.
Last but not least, we got Jordan. And very excited to hear your answer on this. What is the
cousin Jordan, Trent's father, Catherine's husband? We lost Scott.
All right, but we got to finish this up. Jordan
from Grosse Pointe, my brother from another mother.
Yes. And he wants to know, what is the over-under on the number of beers consumed by the group in Munich?
Oh, man. Well, so total number of beers, the group is myself, Jordan, and his brother Brent, who
Three guys.
Three guys, the Boreal Bros. Tim, you know them. You know how they get down.
Three guys. How many days?
We leave Thursday evening. So I think you have to include airport beers and plane beers. So we're there. We're in Munich Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
3 guys, 4 nights.
Well, including the plane, yes. So let's call it. So when we're in Munich, I think
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 guys.
I think 12 beers a day per guy.
And it's 3 of you.
I was going to say 150.
150 total.
Yeah.
So 12 a guy.
For 3
so
days.
What's 36 times 3 is what? 108. That seems low.
I think 150. I'm going over.
Okay, but question: if you get one of those massive boots, one of those big German beers, is that a Scheinerbach? Is that 1 beer, or is that like that? It's equivalent to like 3 cans of beer, or 4, like, like that's a hard.
I think we'll go with. I think one beer is 12 ounces.
12, yeah, so 12 ounce. Okay.
So let's say those Steins are what? Are the 3 beers?
They can be like 30, 32. Yeah, it can be 40. Dude, some of those are huge.
I'm saying if 110's the number, I'm going over. I'm saying 150.
Well, that's just when we're in Munich. That doesn't include like airport beers, plane beers, which we'll have.
Will you be touching any liquor or wine? You've been a big wine boy lately, Jay.
I have, but it
doesn't seem like the spot to do it.
Maybe like a what are those like warm? If it's like 40 degrees, like the warm wine, you know what I'm talking about? The like what's it called? I don't know what it's called, but it's a German thing. It's like warm. It's warm red wine. Maybe one. It's beers. It's beers.
It's a beer
liquor.
weekend.
No way. No liquor. No. It's beers.
Called Glühwein. It's called Glühwein.
That's it, Tim.
Yeah, Glühwein. I just looked it up. It's the glow wine. Yeah, literally translates to glow wine.
I think it's 100. I think the line is 121 and a half.
Over. Dude, you're going to a Lions game in Germany. You're going to be so pumped up. You might be a little tired and jet lagged, but come on, man. If you win, dude, you're not going to sleep. You're having fun.
We went through the schedule already, and we are winning.
Yeah, exactly. When you win, you're not going to bed.
When we win.
Yeah.
When we win.
I'm taking the over all day, and Jordan, I will put $100 on the over 120.
The line's moving. 124.5 now. Although this over action is shifting the line.
The line is set at 121 and a half 12-ounce beers from Thursday departure at like 6 p.m. till Monday morning arrival at, I don't know, 9 a.m.
So this is a challenge to MCBK listeners. We want you to comment over or under 121.5 for Brent, Jordan, and JD at Munich. If you made it this far in the episode, please leave a comment. Yeah.
121.5 beers in Munich over the course of like 90 hours.
Yeah.
So
And I think we should get Jordan on to talk about how you would game plan this.
Yeah, I say we gotta have him on both of the Boreos.
Yeah, we'll get the Boreos on. Maybe
like that week leading up the episode,
like
that Tuesday episode leading up to it, we can get an updated picture.
Yeah.
So I got disconnected at the start of this question. So we were counting the beers that are drank like at DTW while you're waiting for the flight.
We're saying what the over under on total.
I know
beers,
right, but I'm those
we
beers count towards the total.
We're counting airport beers. We have a layover in
Nice.
Amsterdam, and there's like a Heineken factory situation in the Amsterdam airport that we want to go to. So that, yes, it's all included. I think, yeah, I think over 121.5. I think that's a good bet.
I'm saying 150. Easy.
So that's just an extra 10 beers a guy so it's like an extra
3-4 beers a day. Like 16 a guy. You're at like 16 a guy per day. It's a lot.
That's a lot of beers, but I think it's Munich and it's the Lions.
Fun mailbag.
Great mailbag today.
Good mailbag. Good mailbag courtesy of the Grosse Pointe Boreos. The best. Love you guys. Thank you for your support. Go Lions as always. Tim, what do you got for us?
Well, and keep enjoying summer, guys. I'm going to South Dakota in 2 days for my annual 4th of July trip.
Let's go.
And I mean,
driving.
Yes. And
Mac Daddy.
Yep. And
I'm not the first time I've said this, but be safe, Tim.
I received. South Dakota is more dangerous than
the casino. You're going to the casino.
Yeah. Casino in suburban Chicago. Yeah. No, there's danger afoot, but we're experienced.
What's on the agenda?
Singing, joking, swimming, eating, talking to the people. That's what we do.
You guys do some heavy like explosives out
there's
there,
been
right?
There's allegedly been explosives in the past.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Terrion Arnold's going to be there. Malik Beasley's going to be there. Brandon Ayuk's going to be there. If you got in trouble recently, come to South Dakota. We'll accept you there.
Malik Beasley, we didn't even talk about him.
Chauncey Billups will be there. Everybody will be there.
Chauncey.
We'll be exploding stuff. We'll be singing. We'll be telling jokes.
Dude, what's the over-under on beers in South Dakota?
1,000.
Over.
Yeah.
Over.
Yep. Well, lovely episode, guys. We came in at a nice clip of 1 minute and 1 hour and 14 minutes.
Yeah, this is good. We're going back in the right direction. Some progress. We're being a little bit more concise. To this point, we were just kept getting longer and longer and longer and longer.
Right.
So
right.
It's good to see us go. We're versatile. We can go the other way too.
Yeah. Thanks, MCBK family. I golf with Nick and Mikhail, who I promised to shout out, and they were like, "Do you guys even still do that?"
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
I'm joking. They were very supportive, and they were looking forward to this episode. So, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Enjoy summer, guys. Yeah.
Thank you,
enjoy
Nick. Thank you, Mikhail. Thank
Scott,
you, MCBK.
Enjoy the lead up. Hope the lead up to the festivities aren't too stressful and all good.
Happy 4th of July.
Yeah.
Happy 4th, guys.
250th birthday, USA.
Heck yeah.
All right. Hey, guys. See you next time.
Peace.